Hello, you lovely lot. Today, I want to talk a little bit about symptoms. We're not going to go through the whole list because I'll be here a very long time and I want to keep this brief for you so I don't clutter your brain. You can find the symptoms list, which is from the Menopause charity, on my homepage, menopauseornotmad.co.uk. There's a very simple little clickable button there. So I'm just going to run through what's on the list. Actually, if I'm honest, the list could be longer. It's very much a personal thing as to how you experience perimenopause. And in reality, I'm just trying to bring up the list now. In reality, you'll have versions of these. You won't have all of these symptoms. You might not have any of them. Doesn't mean you're not perimenopausal. You might have a few of them. You might have them when they come and go. I think my list when I was perimenopausal, if I look back retrospectively, was around 29 of the symptoms, but not all at once. And they often creep up slowly. So you end up thinking, oh, that's just who I am. That's just a part of why I am the way I am. And you just absorb them into your psyche and just assume that that's the way you are. Actually, that's not the case. Quite often, if you look retrospectively again, if you look back, you might say, oh, I've always had a low mood. When actually, when you look back, it might only have been 5, 8, 10 years, and actually you were fine before then. So it's a matter of just pulling all pieces together. So I'm just going to bring up the symptoms list for myself to remind me because there are so many. I was just going to go through a few which, as I say, you can find on my website, menopauseornotmad.co.uk, on the homepage, a little button near the top. So most women will come to me because their mood has become so low that they just are not coping very well. Now, there is a difference between low mood and depression. And of course, if you are depressed, you really, really need to see your doctor. If your mood is low, so perhaps you get angry a bit more often, or you just feel a bit peed off, more often than you would normally, and there's no particular reason for it, and that's new for you, then those sorts of things could well be down to and due to perimenopause. A lot of women will experience things like palpitations. So you might wake up in the morning feeling quite anxious for no reason, and your heart's beating really fast, which of course then makes you feel more anxious. And you might have had difficulty sleeping. So the sleep then makes you feel groggy, which then makes your mood feel low again. So they all have a knock-on effect. And then your memory can be affected, of course, because brain fog is a thing and poor memory is a thing in perimenopause, all due to this fluctuating and reducing estrogen. But most women will come to me with things like palpitations, poor sleep, anxiety, and low mood. However, I've got a little list here to remind me. There are things like irritability, feeling dizzy or faint, a sort of tightness in your head, tinnitus. Now, I have to say, tinnitus was and is still one of mine. Now, I'm postmenopausal, fully balanced, as you might expect. But I've never quite got rid of my tinnitus, and I do have a bit of an ear problem at the moment, which has made it even worse. So let's be honest, when you introduce HRT, I am personally expecting you, once we're balanced, to get to about 80% better. It's not going to be 100%. You haven't suddenly become a 20-year-old again. You haven't suddenly become younger or healthier than you were before. But if you're more balanced from a hormone perspective, everything should calm down. You should start to feel more able to cope and more like your normal self. 80% is great. 100% is probably not achievable. So I'm okay with my tinnitus. I just kind of run with it. It's all good. Headaches are another symptom that crop up a lot. Muscle and joint pains, and general inability to recover from exercise. That's quite common. Breathing difficulties is an interesting one. The reason we get that is, obviously, if you have breathing difficulties, please see your doctor. But when we're talking about perimenopause, usually that's down to the low levels of estrogen, which tends to make our lungs less squishy. And so it feels more difficult to breathe. There's nothing wrong with you, nothing urgent wrong with you, and nothing sinister going on. It just makes you feel a bit more breathless. Hot flushes, we know about hot flushes. Not everybody gets them, by the way. I had them. Many of my clients don't. Night sweats, not the same as hot flushes, but when you're at night and you're sweating through your pajamas or through the bedclothes, you might be wanting to get up in the night to wee a lot more. Again, that disturbs your sleep and has all the other knock-on effects. So those are some of the symptoms that I personally see more than anything else. There are loads more, so please do go and get the Menopause Charity symptoms checklist. But I wanted you just to have an idea that menopause isn't just, it's not just one thing. It's a multitude of different things, and it's really individual. So my experience of perimenopause and menopause is not going to be your experience. And there is no way I'm going through life without hormone replacement therapy. You might know people who have said, absolutely not, just going to do it the natural way. There's nothing unnatural about hormone replacement therapy, by the way. But you need to make a decision that's right for you. And if you're struggling and your hormones are causing, or lack of hormones, are causing you to feel at the worst case scenario, like harming yourself because things are just unbearable, or even, and I'm not dismissing this as small, just the odd hot flush, even if you're struggling at either end, whether you're struggling at either end of that scale, you have the right to do what you want to do with that. And many women will choose hormone replacement therapy. Some people will, I don't like this phrase, but will plow on and just get through it. I don't recommend that. And there are many reasons why I don't recommend that, but that's not for this video. So I hope that you download the symptoms checker from menopauseornotmad.co.uk. It's totally free. I'm not even going to ask you for your email for that, but you can join my email list at the same time on the separate button if you want to. I hope that helps. Bye.